Hello again, friends. I am back with another video, and I'm gonna apologize for my voice just because I've been getting over a cold. That's why this video has taken so long to come out. But anyway, today's video, I'm gonna show you guys what I drew during Inktober. And here's the first one. It's this little cat. I didn't film this one, but I thought I'd show you guys. I was only doing the challenge as sort of like one drawing a week type of thing, just because, as you know from my last video, I moved and I didn't really have time to do my whole Inktober planning for the whole 31 days of the challenge. So I just compromised with doing like a random sketch once a week. Y'all, I am drinking tea trying to make myself sound better right now, but it is not going well. Anyway, I wanted to use this messy sort of cross-hatching style because I really like the way it looks when you fade it out. And it's pretty easy to do. You just start off as light as possible and you build up the layers by switching the directions of the strokes. So that's what I'm doing here. I was drawing some mint leaves for this one, mint leaves. Cara had like a Planttober prompt list and I decided to like follow that for a couple of the drawings here and there and just incorporate whatever plant into whatever drawing I was doing. Also, I had a bit of trouble getting my camera to focus, so sorry if a lot of these shots are a bit blurry and not very high quality. I really want to get a better video camera, but I'm saving up for it slowly. My iPhone does okay, but it doesn't do as well in like certain lighting situations. And then my DSLR camera does better in certain lighting situations, but not necessarily like quality. So it's just like bad either way. So yeah, sorry about that. Also, fun fact, these little Jelly Roll white pens that I'm using came in a pack of 3 and I bought them when I was in high school and I'm finally down to the last pen, which is kind of crazy. It's been over 10 years, pretty much, because I'm like 26. So yeah, they lasted a long time, which I guess makes sense because I usually just use them for like tiny details like this or to like cover up a small little mistake. But yeah, they've lasted a while. All right, and then I'm also going to go back in with my brush pen real quick just to boost the contrast a bit here in the darker areas. All right, and so for this week, I started by sketching out the drawing first. I didn't really do that with the other ones that much. I just kind of went in with my ink, and that's fun too, but I kind of wanted to get this pose just right, just the way I saw it in my head. And the only thing I kind of regret about it is that I changed her face from a profile view to like a 3/4 view, and I think I should have just left it as a profile view. I mean, there's some other things I kind of regretted later on about this drawing, which we'll talk about when we get there. It just started off so well, and then I brought out my ink pens and it went downhill. So I also wanted to talk about my goals for the coming new year. Earlier this year, I actually did a video where I talked about my goals for 2024, and I watched that video recently, and I didn't get as far as I wanted with this year. I definitely didn't get back into a good rhythm of uploading videos, that's for sure. I also didn't get to do any art markets, which was something that I really wanted to push for, and it just didn't happen. I didn't expect to move to Georgia either, I guess, so that's fair enough. So I am looking towards next year to try again, and I've already got a good rhythm going here with my YouTube channel again. And art markets are on the top of my list. I am planning on doing one in the spring. I've already started to gather my materials, and to get ready for that. I'm going to make a video on that too, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, that's what's coming up next, and hopefully everything will go well and nothing unexpected will happen. But if it does, then I'll just, I'll keep trying. Also, going back to what I'm drawing here, I did not have a strategy as to how I was going to ink this, and it is a great example as to why you should plan your illustrations out. But like I said, this is like in my sketchbook. It shouldn't be super serious, even though I really tend to want to make it super serious. But yeah, it's fine now. But later when I get into more of the shading, you'll see I just kind of lose the contrast, which is disappointing because I really liked how it was coming along. Anyway, back to what I was saying. I'm trying to make progress towards my small business and everything, but the goals have been hard because it always seems like there's always some unexpected thing that pops up and throws you off track. But I think I also mentioned this in my other video. You kind of just have to tell yourself to focus on the progress and not necessarily the fact that you didn't, complete the goal. And we'll do that later. I'll talk a little bit more about my progress and my other goals for the coming new year. But I'm not going to lie, it's still a bit upsetting that I'm not where I thought I would be at this point with my YouTube channel, with my business, with creating my own characters and stories. I just wish things had turned out differently, or that I had somehow organized my life better, but that just doesn't happen all the time. Also, this is the point in my drawing where I really mess up the shading. Sorry, I'm just going to pop back into what I'm drawing here. I'll just speed this up and you won't have to look too long at the downfall of this piece. It honestly came out fine. I'm probably just being dramatic. Anyway, moving on to the next illustration that I did. This one was actually my favorite out of all of them. I didn't use any of the Inktober prompts with it. I just sort of started doodling, and I'm using the same sort of cross-hatching technique for the bear in the background, which I think looked really cool. And yeah, it just turned out to be my favorite. So like I was saying about the progress I did or didn't make, I just want to focus a little bit more on some things that did happen that were good. For example, I updated my branding with Printy, and I also continue to make sales on my Etsy shop, which might not sound like much, but you have to understand that every time I reopen the shop for like my season, there's always this sense of, oh no, what if I make absolutely no sales? And I've invested all this money into making my products, and now my shop is just completely dead. But thankfully things picked up, and no, I'm not making a lot of money from it, but it's still, again, something that is making steady progress. So yeah, every sale means so much to me, and I'm grateful that it hasn't died, even though my social media presence kind of died a bit. By the way, with my shop, I am closing out this season of Printy on December 6th. That's the last day you can place an order before I go on a short break. I'll reopen in January as usual. So if you want to buy any of my stickers as gifts, make sure to place your order soon. My Over the Garden Wall cat stickers are very low stock. I think I have like 8 or 9 left, and who knows how much I'll have by the time this video is out. So yeah, go check out the shop, linked in the description, if you are interested in buying any of those. But back to what I was saying. So my progress towards, working on projects that I'm actually passionate about kind of came at the end of this year, because recently, well, a couple months ago, obviously, I took a job for a children's book. And it's funny because I mentioned in my other video about my goals that I wasn't going to be doing children's books for self-publishing authors anymore, and a lot of that was because I was kind of caught up in a contract with a client that wasn't going great, and I kind of kept working with him because I needed money. But now I am contracted with a friend of mine, and it's nice because she is also an illustrator as well as an author, and she picked me specifically for the kind of work that I do. It's not just someone coming to me saying, hey, I want you to make this illustration in this style, and they give no consideration to what I've actually done in the past. They'll just be like, hey, illustrate my children's book about, construction sites and construction workers. And then all I have in my portfolio is like fantasy and cats, so it doesn't match. She also understands a lot more about this process of creating a children's book because she's also in that same world that I am. And so it's rare for, self-publishing authors to actually have that, at least in my experience. So yeah, it's the first time in a while that I've truly felt excited about illustrating a children's book, and I can't wait to share it with you guys when that series drops sometime next year. Okay, so I just finished that 4th illustration for Inktober, and yeah, that's technically all the weeks that I did. And I also added a bonus one just because I was on a roll and I just wanted to keep drawing. So I did this tiger illustration too that I'm going to draw here as we wrap up the video. I actually spent a lot of this year caught up in that illustration project for that other client that really turned me away from working with self-publishing authors. And that is why I said what I said in that video. And yes, it's still kind of true. I'm going to be much more picky about the projects I take on and from who. I mean, that project became, like I said, more about the money and less about the work I was doing, which I think we can all understand. Sometimes you take those jobs, and honestly, this was the first of those that really went sour in the end. Most of the other projects, when I started out freelancing, actually ended pretty pleasantly, even though the work I did wasn't, fantastic portfolio work. The clients were great, it was a mutual, like, okay, we're all good, and that's why I had to fire this past client, and that's why I'm able to work on this new project with my friend, and I would much rather be working with her. But yeah, that's a story for another time, maybe. I'm just glad to be on to other things and to be working more towards, the kind of work I want to make and continue to make for the days to come. And that's really all the progress I made in 2024, even though it was a little disappointing. I am looking forward to 2025, and I'm hoping I'll be a lot more consistent with my YouTube channel again, and I'll actually get to do some art markets and work on way more fun projects that are personal projects and things that I really enjoy. So I'm looking forward to that. But one last thing I wanted to mention in this video before I go is that if y'all want to leave some questions that you might have about illustrating a children's book, I would love it if you commented them below. I want one of my videos for my children's book illustration series to have a Q&A. So please let me know your questions. I definitely won't be able to answer everything, but I want to be as helpful with my information in that series as I can. And if I hear what you guys have on your minds, it'll help me sort of structure my series a little bit more and answer some questions and actually be, helpful. So yeah, leave them below. Let me know what you guys have in mind. Anyways, guys, that is all I have left of this video. Don't forget to check out my Etsy shop before it closes on December 6th. And please consider subscribing, especially if you're looking forward to that children's book illustration series coming to my channel next year. All right, friends, thanks so much for watching, and I will talk to you next time. Bye.